and welcome to my chaos. They are doing some construction outside, so I apologize if you can hear that in the background. So in a previous video, we talked about how Disney Dreamlight Valley is kind of teasing that there will be islands in the future of the game that we will be able to visit, as well as potentially new biomes that we'll be getting. Based on the end of credits scene at the end of the Remembering, I think that we're probably going to get 3 new biomes, either attached to Disney Dreamlight Valley itself, like our little section of the valley, or maybe on a separate island. So I made a list of all of Disney's animated films as well as Pixar films and other movies that they kind of hinted they might be adding into the game, such as Nightmare Before Christmas, Pirates of the Caribbean, things like that. I listed all of their settings and highlighted which movies we will probably see characters from and what settings these films took place in, just to kind of think about what do they really need to add to fit some of these characters into the valley, or just to make the valley a little bit more diverse and interesting. I have compiled all of this information to make one list of 6 biome predictions, as well as island predictions, like specific island predictions, not like, oh, there's an island with these biomes. No, like specific places that we could possibly visit. So first, let's talk biomes. One biome that I think would be interesting to add, it's not technically a biome, but you know, it can be a biome in the game. It's a fantasy game. There are a lot of movies that take place in modern day cities. And we know that our avatar, in the opening cutscene, it talks about how like we wanted to escape from the hustle and bustle. It shows like a city skyline, and we go back home to like a woods that literally looks like the 100-acre Wood. And we go back into this childhood state. So we know that our avatar wants to escape the city, so that might be the only thing that's keeping me from thinking that we could get a city biome. But there are just so many characters, like popular movies with characters that are from cities. So we have movies like Wreck-It Ralph that would look amazing in a city. We have Monsters Incorporated, Zootopia, Big Hero 6, The Incredibles, Elemental. We also have minor films that take place in cities, like The Aristocats is partly in a city, and Oliver and Company is in a city. But we're mostly just going to focus on like the major films that they're probably going to add. We have a lot of films that really take place in a city. How would some of these characters fit in, right? Because like we have the apartments. They added the apartments into the game that we can live in. They look out of place, don't they? Or is that just me? I don't know. I feel like they look out of place. Like I was thinking maybe, I don't know how they would add a city biome onto our current valley. But if we're going by a theory that maybe we can travel to an island that has like other biomes that we can like build on and characters can live on. Ooh, we can move Maui away. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Ah! That's a compromise. Okay, anyway. Okay, so if we get an option where we have like different islands that have biomes that characters can live, and that might also help with like the graphics too. That way it's not just like huge Manhattan or something. And so like maybe we have this like, I don't know, this just like this large patch of grass, almost like the meadow, but you can see all around you there's like a city in the outskirts. Like you can't touch the city skylines, but it's like there. And then we get new trails that are like sidewalks and chain link fences and stuff like that, right? That sounds cool to me, I think, and it would really tie in a lot of these characters better, and you could just have your own little micro city on a separate island. I don't know, because I don't know how else they're going to tie in these city characters. I don't want to just put them anywhere. I want it to make sense, right? Next biome prediction is something that we are almost certainly getting, is the desert. And the films that go along with that is Aladdin and probably Coco. Like it looks like parts of it, I don't know, it looks like it's partially in a desert, right? It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I haven't seen it in a while. But how could we not get a desert? Even just a little small one. I would love to see a city biome, but if we did not get one, a lot of these characters might look good in a desert if we're thinking of things like Las Vegas or Dubai, where it's just these big cities with lots of lights in a desert. It's really cool. It's a really cool vibe. Yeah, so that way we have more characters that could make sense in a desert, but I don't know. I'm really hoping, I would love to see a city biome, so I'm gonna keep hoping on that. Based on the hints they are getting us with the content roadmap and the hourglass from Aladdin being in the sand and them hinting at Jafar in the end of credits cutscene. We're getting a desert. Like, we are getting a desert. The next biome that I would like to see, and also that I'm pretty sure we're going to get in the future, is that of a jungle. We need a jungle. We have a forest, we have a meadow, but we don't have a tropical jungle. This will help fit in quite a few films like The Jungle Book, Tarzan. We also are still waiting on Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King, where, if you don't remember, Simba actually went into like a little jungle and lived in the jungle with Timon and Pumbaa before he went back to the savannah. So Timon and Pumbaa belong in the jungle. The Emperor's New Groove took place in the jungle. Raya and the Last Dragon, a lot of parts of that film also take place in the jungle. So we have a bunch of films here that would make sense in a jungle setting, and also it's an obvious type of biome, so I would assume that we're probably going to get that in the future as well. A biome that I came up with after looking at my data. So I'm looking at movies like Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Winnie the Pooh. I mean, Hunchback of Notre Dame takes place in the city of Paris, but like old Paris. I'm sure you get the vibe. I'm sure you get the vibe. I don't know how to explain it. But so I was thinking, how would they tie in these films? I mean, Winnie the Pooh could just go in the forest. But the forest that we have is very northern, like Canadian or Norwegian. It's very like up north. I feel like we need a forest that's a little bit down south, just not too far down south, just a little bit. And it's not so much extremely green when there's no winter. We need like a temperate forest. It still has the green, but it's also, there's like more browns in the trees, maybe a little bit of red, like it's kind of just starting to turn to fall is kind of the vibe I'm thinking of. Like there's just brown. There's the green, but there's browns to just kind of tie in that like earthly, villagey, you know what I mean? So just like an autumn temperate forest biome, I think would be stunning. Right? Now, I don't know if we're getting Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but like, I don't know. I feel like the Headless Horseman could be a cool addition, and whatever. I just threw it. I threw it in there, but yeah, I think that could be really interesting. My next prediction is to tie in more elegant films. We have a lot of Disney films that take place in kind of like Victorian suburbia, or later. I mean, not all of them are Victorian, but you know, like the bushes are neatly trimmed. It has the beautiful wrought iron fences. There's white columns and things. There's either horse-drawn carriages or like Model T cars. So it kind of gives like an elegant suburban vibe, but we can't just put the suburbs into it, right? That wouldn't make any sense. I mean, if we had a city biome, we could easily tie in the suburbs. That could make sense. But so what I came up with to tie in some of these suburban movies is the idea of an elegant garden. There's lush green grass and beautiful flowers, and then like off in the background we see like neatly trimmed bushes, and everything is just green and pristine, and it's like a garden. Almost. It's kind of like a meadow that has been touched by humans. Like people are maintaining this patch of grass and the bushes and all of the natural elements. And this would help tie in a lot of films like Peter Pan. We could put the Tinkerbell fairies in there. We could have Alice in Wonderland, Cinderella, 101 Dalmatians, the Aristocats, and Lady and the Tramp would all be spectacular in just like this freshly... What? There's like a white column gazebo, fireflies at night, just like, you know, just really lovely. And I think that would really tie in a lot of these films. And then my last prediction for an upcoming biome would be an underwater biome that would tie in movies like The Little Mermaid and Finding Nemo. Now, if we look at Ariel and Ursula's houses in the game, they look like they belong underwater. It does look very odd and out of place sitting on top of the water, doesn't it? Right? It's a little strange. It doesn't quite belong there. The game also has a number of that us getting an underwater biome probably is in the works, and it would make sense. They posted a survey a while back ago that asked us what characters we would like to see join us in the valley, or, you know, whatever. They had Finding Nemo on there. Finding Nemo was an option. So this is something that they're already thinking of. Now, how else would we interact with a little tiny clownfish? Unless we could go underwater. Is Nemo just gonna pop out of the water? How are we gonna see him? How are we gonna see Nemo? How? No, I think we're getting an underwater biome. I think that one is very likely. So while we're on the discussion of going underwater, let's talk about possible islands, because Merlin is talking about us going to islands. Now, this could have to do with the multiplayer feature that's coming along in the future. Like, maybe we'll be visiting islands that are like mini games, or islands where we can visit each other's valleys or something. I don't know. It could be that, or it could be islands that we just, I mean, we went to an island to go find Ariel, right? Pretty sure, yeah. So there are islands out there. Will they be biomes? Will they be stuff for multiplayer? Will they just be like, I don't know. While I was collecting my data of all the settings of the films, I was also brainstorming like if these films featured any islands. So we're going to talk about possible islands that could come in the future. So first we have Pinocchio. He visits Pleasure Island, and it's kind of like this weird carnival place where he turns into a donkey, but it's also like really cool at the same time. I could see our avatar, I could see us getting into a lot of trouble there, which is exactly why I think it would be a great addition to the game. Oh, and they can give us like donkey ears that we can wear. Oh, like our character starts turning into a donkey. Ooh. Oh yeah, I like that idea. That'd be fun. Maybe there's even like this whole thing with Monstro. I don't know. That'd be fun. So that is a possible island that we could end up on. We also have Wonderland, which you could argue is not really an island because it's kind of not, but we'll talk about it. If you remember, when Alice is in the room where she's trying to go through the door, there's the talking doorknob and she can't get through the door. She ends up eating a cookie where she grows to be massive, and then she can't fit through the door, and then she cries these big old tears that ends up flooding the room, and then she ends up getting small again, and she goes into a glass bottle and goes through the doorknob, and then she's out on the ocean and then washes ashore to the rest of Wonderland. So you could argue that Wonderland maybe is an island, or that there's islands with Wonderland. I don't know. It's possible. We could end up being in a glass bottle and being transported all the way to Wonderland and getting ourselves into a bunch of trouble with the Queen of Hearts and the Cheshire Cat, and I don't know. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. One that I think would be very likely to be an island that we visit is Neverland, especially with one of the last things we did with the Remembering, putting like all of the pillars around the Orb of Unity, and then something happened with Skull Rock. That's a hint. Something's going on with Skull Rock. Merlin is talking about islands. You know what's an island? Neverland. Neverland is an island. What if Skull Rock is a way to transport ourselves to Neverland, meet Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, and do whatever it is we need to do in Neverland? Like, what if there's like Skull Rock and then another Skull Rock on Neverland, and it like transports us or something? I don't know. Someone on a previous video commented that Maui had previously talked about an island being by Skull Rock that is no longer there. Let's look up a map of Disney's Neverland. Yeah, so it looks like Skull Rock on Peter Pan. It's not actually attached to Neverland. So maybe Neverland is just like right next door. We might have Neverland just like right next door and don't even know it. We could be going to Neverland, friends. And at the end of the Remembering, it did show Tinkerbell flying over the castle. Well, I mean, we don't know for sure that it's Tinkerbell, but Tinkerbell's always the one that kind of does that thing over the castle. We saw that that was in the game. That would, so we could assume that Tinkerbell is already there, maybe? I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. I also have Atlantis on here. I wouldn't really say it's an island as much as an underwater city, but we know that they're gonna do something with Atlantis. Something is happening with Atlantis. We have no clue what it is yet, but it's there. Another island I was thinking about was from The Incredibles Syndrome. The villain has his own island. I don't know if we would see that in the game, but it exists. I also have listed Moana and Pirates of the Caribbean. Both those films, they just go to a whole bunch of islands, so. But yeah. So let me know in the comments what you guys think is potentially coming to Disney Dreamlight Valley as far as biomes or islands or anything at all. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel for more Disney Dreamlight Valley and chaotic cozy gaming, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!